It's hugs all around as Joe makes sure that everything is in place. Let's hear it for Cardinal Nation. That's right, show your support and cheer your Cards to victory. Lights, cameras, action. Sports Night is next.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. Another exciting week in Cardinal athletics.
And back into our regular time slot for the fall season. Finally, everything, it takes a little bit when you get into the fall season to get everything back on track. And now we finally are, and hopefully some things will fall into place for some of the Cardinal programs soon as well.
Yeah, I think back on track is kind of a key word for some teams that are experiencing a little bit of bump in the road right now.
Yeah, it's still very early in the season for a lot of programs, but still a lot of kinks to be worked out for some programs. And for other programs, we're already past midseason for the tennis team, for instance.
Exactly. They're on a nice path.
They are indeed. But we're going to start with the football team. They'll hit the road this week for the first time this season. They're hoping it will help change their fates. The Cardinals played better in week 2 than they had in week 1. But it still wasn't enough to score them a victory. The Jefferson Jaguars were coming in off a big opening week win, and the defense helped them keep them in check for the most part. The offense just couldn't put enough points on the board. Opening possession, Jaguars get a big play to put the first points on the board. Zach Euban connects with Eric Rasmussen. 3rd and long, Rasmussen makes a catch, bounces away from a couple defenders, takes it in for 40 yards out. Jefferson up early. Late first quarter, 3rd and long for Coon Rapids. Onda throws on the run into double coverage. Daniel Tobone is there for the interception. He turns it upfield. He's going to finally be brought down inside the Cardinals' 20. Jaguars capitalize on the great field position. 4th and goal. They hand it off to 235-pound linebacker Ted Kalina. Charges into the end zone to make it a 13-0 Jefferson lead. Cardinals answer on the next position. Long drive ends with a Tanner Tunsky great jumping catch on the fade. Got the Cardinals on the board 13-6. Late in the second, Cardinals backed up deep in their own end. Zach Cushing able to get to Onda and knock the ball loose. Cardinals recover the fumble, but it's in the end zone. And the safety makes it 15-6 Jefferson at the half. Coon Rapids driving into scoring territory early in the third. Cody Kovalenko moving the pile, but the ball is stripped, and the Jaguars able to force another turnover in the red zone. Next, Cardinals play from scrimmage, another turnover. Onder never secures the snap, pops free. Max Tillotson able to jump on it, give Jefferson great field position again. That led to a 32-yard Ryan Murray field goal, which would complete the scoring. 4 turnovers in the game for Coon Rapids, 7 already through 2 games this season. Cardinals fall to 0-2 with the 18-6 loss.
You know what I really like that I took out of this game is their defense. I thought played really well. They gave up that big play in the beginning.
The one big play.
It was a missed tackle, but I thought their defense did really well. You talked about the key, turning the ball over. You cannot, and especially in the red zone. And this is, usually a more disciplined team. So I think as this season goes on, they'll get those problems ironed out. But they've got to be able to score points, and they've got to be able to finish when they're in the red zone and not turn that ball over.
Yeah, and that is something that definitely they will be working on as they head on the road. Next 2 games on the road against tough conference opponents. They're at Anoka, another team that is 0-2 after giving up a big lead in the 4th quarter to Blaine last week. And then they're at Blaine, of course, always a tough Bengal team and a tough crosstown rival. So some things to work on. But, yeah, you hit the nail on the head, I think, with the defense after how porous they were in week 1. And, again, hats off to Elk River for having one of the best rushing offenses you will ever see in high school football in the state of Minnesota. I mean, they did it again last week against Andover, almost 600 yards a game running the football. But, as porous as they looked in that week 1, they came in against Jefferson, who had a top running back who was really put up big numbers week 1, and they shut him down. Their quarterback, Euban, was 18 of 21 with 3 touchdowns in week 1, and they kept him completely off his game. They just did a nice job everywhere on the field. But the turnovers kill them. They had at least one more failed 4th down conversion, but 7 turnovers in 2 games. And they're not forcing any turnovers. When you lose the turnover battle, you typically lose the game. They were 3 turnovers to 0 week 1. 4 turnovers to 0 week 2.
Yeah, it's just something that they'll have to figure out, and then they will. And I think against Anoka, a team also coming in at 0-2, an opportunity to see if they can get on the winning track.
Well, and we will see, because Anoka usually runs the ball heavily.
Right.
They're going to be a run-dominated offense, but they run the wing tee, and it's something the Cardinals may be a little more used to seeing.
They're familiar with it.
And hopefully they can step up and have the kind of defensive day they had last week and work out some of those kinks on offense. Keep control of the ball and finish in the red zone.
They found a running back, though. I kind of like that.
They did. We didn't even mention that.
No.
Cortez Action Jackson. Most of that was in the second half, and I don't remember what his exact yardage was. 125?
No, about 160 yards total for the game.
Yeah, he's fast. He's fast.
He is.
And Cody Kovalenko, big fullback, can run the ball, move piles, short down yardage, very good.
You also have to remember too, they're without Tykees with that cast on his arm. So in terms of being an offensive threat, he's not able to catch the ball the way he'd like to, obviously. So hopefully some of that will work itself out.
Yep.
Well, the tennis team has another busy schedule this week, and they're hoping to build off success they had in last weekend's tournament. The Cardinals played the conference matches during the week last week before heading to Alexandria for a tournament on Saturday. On Tuesday, however, the Cardinals welcomed Centennial to the complex, and they were really less than hospitable. Allie Bauer playing in the near court at first single. She's strong on the baseline for this point, waiting for opponent to commit an unforced error for the point. Bauer is nearly perfect against the Cougars, winning 6-0, 6-0. Heidi Hanula playing at second singles against Centennial, and the Cardinals captain continues to perform nearly perfect since her return. She wins easily in this one, 6-0, 6-1. That kind of domination continues through the singles lineup. Hannah Nagley makes quick work of her opponent at third singles as well. She's going to win her match 6-1, 6-0. Centennial won at fourth singles, so the Cardinals just needed one win at doubles. They get two. Nice net play by captain Tina McManus on this point. She and Andrea Ream win at second doubles 6-4, 7-6. And Sarah McDonald and Julie Mortensen get the Cardinals one more point with a win in the final court. They take the third doubles match 7-6, 6-4. Cardinals win 5-2.
Yeah, and this is important for this Cardinals team. Again, we talked about them last year, maybe overperforming a little bit, but becoming co-champions with 21 wins on the season. But they lost quite a bit.
They did.
And this year, coming in, they know they've got a lot of talent and they've got a lot of movable pieces, but they have to go out and they have to beat the teams they should beat. That is absolutely key
it's important.
to success for any program, and they're doing that by getting the win over a team like Centennial.
Absolutely.
Well, on Thursday, they took on Elk River. A little bit tougher competition in the Elks. They lose to the Elks 5-2. The winners are Hannah Nagley at third singles, Nelson and Westra at first doubles, winning 6-7, 4-6. Ream and McManus lose at second doubles, 0-6, 2-6. And they lose third doubles as well, 6-4, 2-6, 2-6. They went up to Alexandria on Saturday and played a couple. Beat Crookston 4-3. They beat Sauk Center 6-1. And then the host Cardinals, they beat 4-3, improving their overall record to 9-4. Cardinals now 4-2 in the conference with the losses to Elk River and Maple Grove. Andrea Ream was 3-0 on the day, 2 matches at doubles, 1 at singles. Hillsheim got her first ever varsity win, I believe, in the Crookston match, and then McManus was 2-0. She played a couple of doubles matches. Cardinals at Osseo on Tuesday and at Armstrong on Thursday. Osseo, another one of those teams that you look at, and Cardinals have to win that one. Armstrong, another team, a little bit better competition than Osseo, but a team that the Cardinals have to beat if they want to keep pace and finish towards the top of the pack.
Well, nice start in the conference at 4-2, and a nice overall record at 9-4.
Absolutely.
And so, I mean, this is a team that's been used to success and looking to continue.
Well, the Cardinals volleyball team will face 2 conference rivals this week, looking for their first league victory of the season. Team had a very busy schedule last week, starting with a Tuesday night match on the road against Armstrong. It was a season opener for the Falcons, who finished 2013 with a record about 5 games over 500, and they would be looking to pick up right where they left off. Cardinals serving in the first set. Armstrong with a weak return, and Jessica Hegg makes the pay. She gets the kill and gets the point for Coon Rapids. Carly Britton serving again for the Cardinals. The Falcons quickly turn it around and set up on the left side. Ellie Hinsey is there for the Cardinals to get the block. And things are going well for Coon Rapids in the first, but it wasn't going to be enough. Maddie Schweitzer serving late in the first game. Armstrong is going to set up in the middle this time. Kelsey Sather is there to hammer it to the floor for the score. Falcons take the first set 25-20. Cardinals keeping all the sets close against Armstrong. They go to their big gun on this point. She delivers. Jessica Haig picking up one of her team high 10 kills to keep the Cardinals in it. But Armstrong just has too many weapons. Courtney Mollum is going to finish a long volley with a attack from mid-court line. The Cardinals can't control. Falcons win second 25-13. Armstrong looking to close this one out quickly, serving with match point. Cardinals pick it up but can't get much on the attack. Falcons turn it around, set up Mollum in the center of the net again. She fires to the floor. Falcons sweep up with a 25-22 win.
Yeah, again, they're looking for some success here this season as well. And you know, we haven't had a chance to see them yet. I think we'll get a chance in a couple of weeks or a week after next. I think that's when we see them. So, looking for try to win some games.
Well, and the tough thing is, especially against you know, some of those teams in the middle of the pack, this is not a team that is going to compete for a conference championship. No. Being realistic, it's not a team that's going to compete for a conference championship, but against those teams in the middle of the pack, they have to find those couple of extra points, couple of extra points to turn things from that 22-25 loss into a win, so they can at least get set victories, even if that doesn't amount to match victories. Just to get set victories and force it to a fourth and fifth set would be big for this team. And they're having a little trouble getting started, getting the wheels spinning. This is just their second match of the season after losing to Heritage Christian.
Absolutely. That's what I was going to say. Yeah, this is it's early in their season yet, so these are some of the things that they need to do to improve. But you're right. Those teams in the middle, the teams they can compete with, they do need to get wins in that.
Well, and Cardinals facing one of the more elite teams in the conference on Thursday. Blaine Bengals hand them a 3-0 loss. The score is 11-25, 12-25, and 13-25. Jessica Haig leads in kills again with 6. Gonzala finished with 8 digs. Boyum had 9 to lead the team. Carly Britton had 3 digs, a kill, and an ace. Cardinals hosting the Keller Classic on Saturday. They started against North. They lose 25-14 and 25-16. Then they played the Hornets from Edina, losing 25-12 and 17. That rounded out their pool play. In the bracket play, they beat Fridley, their first win of the season, a 25-21, 25-23 victory for the Cardinals. But in the 9th place game, they lose to Matamidi 25-16 and 25-22. Cardinals 1-6 overall now, 0-2 in the conference.
Yeah, we didn't obviously see that win, but again, scores close. They did what they needed to do to make sure they got the wins rather than being on the opposite side.
Well, and here's another opportunity this week. They're at Park Center, another team that's kind of middle to lower end of the Northwest Suburban Pack. Got to get those couple of extra points to turn those 22-25 losses into 25-22 wins and hopefully pull one out.
Right.
They host Champlin Park on Thursday. The Rebels always put a good team on the floor. I think it would be key for the Cardinals if they can get something positive to take out of that Pirate match to come back home, have a little bit more confidence going in against Champlin Park.
Yeah, absolutely, without doubt. You got to have a little confidence to get that winning feeling.
Swimming and diving team started its season last week, hosting Elk River, or traveling to Elk River. Excuse me, they lose to the Elks 93-85. They got first places from Lindsay Geisy in the 200 free. Galadriel O'Grady.
I like it.
That is one of the greatest names of all time. Galadriel O'Grady. First place in diving with a 198.25. Geezy also won the 500 free in 5 minutes, 51.3 seconds. Second place finishes go to Georgie in the 100 free, Perkins in the 100 fly. Dishinger took third in the 50 free, and Rosalind Lund was fourth in that event as well. Swimming and diving team hosting Maple Grove on Thursday. They're in Spring Lake Park for the Panther Invitational on Saturday.
I was going to say, I know we have them on the schedule coming up, the swim team, pretty soon. I think it's at the end of the month, so we'll get an opportunity to see them as well.
It's a good thing one of us looks more than a week ahead.
I
know that this week we will be at Andover for a soccer doubleheader
yes,
on
we will.
Tuesday, and we will be at Anoka on Friday for football.
That's why you have me. I'll just make sure you're well advised a week in advance.
Next week, I have no idea. I know we've got
well, you know we have football on Friday.
Well, I do know we have football on Friday at Blaine.
Yes.
I know we have something Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday.
I think that may be that next Tuesday may be the volleyball match.
I think it's swimming, actually.
Oh, then maybe it is swimming.
I think now that I'm thinking about mentally picturing it, it may be swimming.
Okay.
May not. It may be volleyball.
Neil highlights. Hennon would probably know. Neil highlights says it's volleyball.
Well, I'm gonna stay with swimming.
All right, we'll look after the show and we'll see who's right.
We will. Boys cross country team and girls cross country team, for that matter, competing in the Monticello Invitational on Thursday. Boys finished 7th out of 11 teams. Freshman Paul Breitbach, a very nice finish, finishing 15th. You may remember his name. He got quite a bit of varsity time at the end of the season last year as an 8th grader, but he was the Cardinals' top pacemaker by far, finishing in 18 minutes, 0.91 seconds. Kyle Mehrhoff, Steve Muggenberg, and Coughlin all finished kind of in a pack. They finished 32, 33, 34, but then 5th place finisher Dunn is a ways back in 62nd, more than a minute behind the nearest Cardinal. And that getting a little bit from Coach Danny Green in an email. He said, hey, three of these guys racing in their very first varsity match, one only in his second, and so a lot of fresh faces for the Cardinals at Monticello Invite. And he said, we know what we have to work on, but finding that 5th and 6th finisher, getting them up with the group is what they need to do if they hope to score a little better as a team.
Oh, plus it's nice to see the young kid in the lead, and that's good for the program because we talked about he had experience last year, but to take the best place for the Cardinals here, it only continues to grow that program and good things for the future.
Well, and setting a good pace at 15 minutes, and he was one that we talked about a little bit at the end of last season as being a bright spot for the future. It's a little bit of a pun because his name's Breitbach.
Yeah, I know.
Breitbach is a bright spot, and he continues to be at the start of this season. Cardinals are at the Hutchinson Invitational on Thursday, and the Malacca Invite a week from Saturday. Girls cross country team also at that Monticello Invite. They finished 5th overall out of those 11 teams. Elise Weimholt was the top finisher in 14th place. Brenna Del Castillo just 3 seconds back in 15th. Benson finished 26th. Porter in 33rd. And then check that out. Hannah Davis, Rachel Davis, and Onyekaba all finishing at 17:31, taking 37th, 38th, and 39th. Now, normally I'd only put 5 names on there because only the top 5 places count towards the team. But when the 5th, 6th, and 7th girls all finish at the same time, I have to put them on.
You have to point it out. Absolutely.
But we've seen this already. They already had a couple of races under their belt coming into the Monticello, and each week we're seeing the girls running together and staying together in groups. And that's the key to team success in cross country, is finishing together and getting groups across with good times, and they're doing that so far. Is this the year? We will have to wait until sections to find out. But 5 straight years as 3rd place finishers at sections, and they definitely have the grouping down. Now, if they can pick up a little bit of pace, they have those top 2, Weimholt and Del Castillo, who were both at state last year, leading the way. And if they can just pick up a little bit more pace, I think this could be the year. Yeah, they're having another good season as well, and I think you're right. I think as they continue to get better, we'll see if they continue to score better as well. They are also at the Hutchinson Invitational on Thursday, and then they have some time off. They're not in action again until the Hudson Invitational on Tuesday, the 23rd. Well, it's going to be a tough road to hoe for the boys soccer team this week, with games at Andover and home against defending conference champion Blaine. And this comes as the Cardinals are still searching for that first win of the year. After being blown out 9-1 by Armstrong last Tuesday, the Cardinals with back-to-back shutout losses to close out the week.
Playing Elk River last Thursday, the Elks with a free kick and they go high right to the net, but Alex McCormick is able to make the save and keep the game scoreless at the end of the first half. We're going to move to early in the second. The Elks are going to be building an attack up the left side. Thunder Hayer, great name. Good speed, gets himself some space, takes a good shot off, but I get another great save by McCormick, and there's still no score. The Elks keep pressure up, and it pays off. On a corner kick, Udala serves it short post. Andy Vale is there to control, turn, shoot, and this time it's McCormick's dive comes up short. Elk River takes that 1-0 lead. Well, they're not satisfied with the one. They keep coming. Tyler Eyrich on the run and get off a good shot in this one. No problem for McCormick, who was tested all game and kept his team in it. Elk River with a free kick midway through the second and a tough bounce for the Cardinals. McCormick and the defender both going for the ball, hit heads and take each other out. Higher able to put it home and completed the scoring, but it was a bigger concern. Definitely the two players slow to get up off the turf. And I believe you talked or you texted with
I did.
Coach Paco, and he said they're doing okay.
Just to make sure, he said both were extensively looked at by the training staff, and both were okay. A little shaken up, a little slow to get up off the turf. Probably had a headache.
I would imagine
a little bit, but no concussion symptoms, and that is very good news. Good news for the Cardinals out of this, and we couldn't show all of the highlights, but McCormick playing pretty well in goal.
Yep.
Bad news is he shouldn't have to have that much work.
No.
Cardinals offensively need to get some more pressure.
They do. I mean, and I talked to Paco as well today, and he just talks about they need to finish. They had opportunities, and they just need to finish.
Well, the Cardinals taking on Anoka on Saturday, sorry. Elk River was on Thursday, and they lose to the Tornadoes by the same score, 2-0. They fall to 0-6 on the season, 0-5 in the conference, and we talked about it. We will be at Andover
Tuesday night.
Tuesday, and then they host Blaine on Thursday.
Yes.
And that's two pretty good soccer programs, especially the Blaine Bengals, and that's one of those programs that, talking to Paco, he says, it's hard when they have good numbers out this year for the Cardinal program, but when you look at other programs like Blaine, they have so many more athletes coming out that they have to choose from that they're able to reload year after year and put together a little stronger program. So it's tough to compete with them, but they'll go out and give their best and hope for the best.
Well, and Andover's having a pretty good season in terms of the boys, and they bring I know one of their best players back from a year ago in a game where they controlled Coon Rapids in last season. So again, they're looking to get off the schneid and get that first win.
Well, and they will be up first for the doubleheader on Tuesday Night Live here at 5 p.m. on Tuesday. Girls soccer team starts this week with some renewed optimism after scoring their first win of the season. You may remember the Cardinals scored their first goal of the year on Tuesday and held on for a 1-1 tie against Armstrong. On Thursday, Cardinals played host to an Elk River team that had just one win on the season. The Cardinals felt it was a great opportunity to take their play to the next level. Cardinal captain Allie Erickson making her return to the lineup, and she will definitely help the offense. Feeds Miss Quick in the middle. Her shot is blocked right to Aaron Jenkins, but the ball spins off her foot and out of play wide. Cardinals with a throw in deep in the Elks end, and they push it right into the middle. Lots of white jerseys there. Nengen is able to set it up for Jenkins, and this time she buries it. Her first of the year, and the Cardinals have the early 1-0 lead. Coon Rapids on the attack again. Miss Quick gets it to Erickson. She gets off a good, strong left-footed shot. The keeper was able to make the stop, keep this a one-goal game. Elk River with a free kick from a dangerous spot late in the first. And they go right at the net. Frazier able to punch it up and out of play. One of her 12 saves in the game. Cardinals corner kick in the second. Low line drive from Jenkins. Miss Quick settles and scores with the left foot. It's 2-0 lead for the home team. Cardinals speed nearly pays off just a few minutes later. Long play out to Allie Erickson in a foot race. She bumps it to herself, outraces the defender, in on a breakaway. A nice play against the keeper, but just wide of the net. Elks did score a late one, but the Cardinals hold on for the 2-1 win.
That's a tough one. I talked to Coach DeJoy today, and he's been a little obviously concerned about the start of his club, and he thinks they may have just turned a corner. Getting Allie Erickson back obviously really helps them because she's they're scoring up front. So hopefully they play Andover tomorrow or Tuesdays, depending on when you're watching this. Andover, I think, has one win on the season. So an opportunity for Coon Rapids to come in and see if they can get 2 in a row.
Yeah, it would be big. Again, Blaine girls program, also very healthy program, and it will be quite a challenge. Nice thing is they're back on home turf.
Yep.
And if they can get that victory against Andover on the road on Tuesday, they come in with two wins in a row, and that confidence
Absolutely.
goes a long way in sports at any level, but definitely at the amateur level, to have that confidence and the belief and the attitude that we can win is huge. And I have always been, and we have frequently talked about around here, the ability for Coon Rapids athletics and athletes to avoid getting into that defeatist mentality and continuing to go out and fight even when they know they are overmatched, and never giving up, because that is what is key in any athletic pursuit. Never give up, always try your hardest, and never hang your head. Just go back and try harder next time.
No, it's just like the football team after that loss to Elk River. Kids came back Monday not hanging their heads. They could have after losing the way they did, but it's just, I think it's the culture, it's the coaches, and they're trying to keep their players with their heads up and build that confidence, and hopefully that pays off for them.
Well, hopefully there's a lot of heads up this week, and we'll have a lot of positive things to talk about next week on Sports Night. Unfortunately, Millington choked, and we have no upcoming graphics, so we can't settle our argument before the end of the show as to what is next week, whether it is swimming or volleyball. That will be, you'll just have to wait and see with the rest of us. But that's going to do it for this edition of CTN Sports. We do know we'll be at Andover for a soccer doubleheader on Tuesday night, at Anoka for live football 7 o'clock on Friday night. But that's going to do it for this edition of Sports Night. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us. Continuing to support everything we do here at CTN, for the entire crew, including Mr. Howie Shapiro, I'm Joe Young saying good night.